Okay. Hello guys. This is my second time shooting this. So hopefully it works because the first time it was not letting me look at my slides, even though I have three, but they're pretty important. So yeah. So I am writing my report on the overpopulation in Egypt, by me. My name is Angelina. So moreover, I talk a lot about just pretty much the overcrowding that Egypt has that I did not discover before until I started researching about it for this report, actually. Um, they pretty much have a huge number of people in different parts of the country. Um, they like some of the topics that I did research on were like environmental stress, some infrastructure planning that the country is trying to do to help fix this problem, social and economic challenges, waste, air and water pollution, issues and concerns, things like not things like who gets the water, but I know that there's a pretty good struggle in getting water from the Nile River. So yeah, let's grasp more into the information. So on population density and why it matters, if you could see here in the image, you could tell that, well, just the more redder is not a word. The red shaded areas is pretty much where there's a lot of population growing. So the high density means more people rely on the same roads, hospitals, schools, and public transit systems. And in overcrowded cities like Cairo, this leads to traffic congestion, longer wait times for medical care, and overcrowded classrooms. And I feel like the three topics that I did cover, like the traffic congestion, wait times for medical care, and overcrowded classrooms, are pretty important, especially for medical care. I know that it's pretty hard to, let's say you're in an emergency and you really need the medical care and it's taking a while. Uh, yeah, this is exactly why an overpopulation problem would need to be fixed, or at least have some sort of planning to be fixed later on in the years, because it's pretty important to get medical care as soon as possible when you need it. Another thing that is kind of smaller but also important, traffic congestion. This made me kind of think about like the LA traffic. I don't know if some people are from California here, but um, the traffic congestion could get bad. The streets get really bad. And as well as overcrowded classrooms. I feel coming from like a student perspective, when classrooms are overcrowded, you don't really learn as good as you can in just like a normal classroom setting with a normal amount of people. But yeah. So this here is an image of an overcrowded, well, traffic congestion, but also an overcrowded street, because you could see like kind of right here on the sides, there's like a lot of huts, and I'm not sure if people sell things there. I didn't really dive deep into the image, but you could tell that a lot is going on. It's pretty hard to get through. So yeah, but in Egypt, nearly all the population is concentrated along the Nile. This means there's an overuse of fresh water from a single source, competition for fertile agricultural land, and limited room for sustainable growth. Um, there has been a lot of like research that I did on the competition for agricultural land. If there's not as much land in Egypt, then what land are we competing for, if that makes sense? I want to dive deeper into that concept and like see what more information, since I'm kind of halfway done on the report, but yeah. And so the overuse of fresh water from the only single source, which is the Nile, that's pretty important, because if everybody's using that water from the Nile, then what's going to happen to the Nile in a couple of years? Um, so yeah, I wanted just to cover just a little bits of some information. But thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoy.